Welcome back to We Lead Anyway. I'm Noelle, Senior Leader, Career Coach, and your host. All right, let's just say it. I don't want to work has become the most controversial sentence on the internet. Somebody posts it, doesn't matter how they frame it, doesn't matter what they mean by it. The comments show up fast. You're lazy, entitled. You don't want to earn a living. Back in my day, we worked two jobs and didn't complain and walked to school uphill both ways. But that's the pile on every single time. But I want to slow this down today because I don't think that sentence means what everyone assumes it means. And I think the people dunking on it the hardest are usually the most exhausted people in the comments section. So here's my take: the people saying, I don't want to work, are almost never saying they want to sit on their arse on the couch and do nothing forever. Most of them are working. A lot of them are working two, maybe three jobs: a job and a side hustle and a group chat where they sell skincare on the weekend. And what they're actually saying, whether they've got the language for it or not, is I don't want to work like this: 9, 10 hours in a building under fluorescent lighting that makes everyone look just a little bit dead. Answering emails at 10 p.m. because somebody above you never learned what a boundary is. You don't want to grind for 40, 50 years so that you can retire at the exact same moment you can no longer bend down and play with your grandchildren. That is a completely reasonable reaction to a system that was never designed with an actual human body or an actual human nervous system in mind. So you're not out of line for noticing that. You're paying attention. So let's talk about why this isn't just a millennial thing or a sign that kids just don't know how to hustle because they're spoiled. It's actually backed by how humans were built to function. So, for the vast majority of human history, work didn't look like this. We're talking hundreds of thousands of years of hunting and gathering and building and resting, and then repeating that based on seasons and light. Effort came in bursts. You worked hard when there was work to do, and then you stopped. There's no concept of clocking in at 9 a.m. and being evaluated on your every output and your attitude every single day for 40 consecutive years. The 8 hour workday, the 40-hour work week, that feels like an ancient tradition because it's baked into everything. But it's not ancient at all. It's about 100 years old. And it came out of the Industrial Revolution, out of factory owners trying to squeeze consistent, predictable output from human beings the same way they'd squeeze it out of a machine. Funny how history is repeating itself, huh? Anyway, it was never designed by asking what's actually sustainable for a person. It was designed by asking what keeps the assembly line moving. And the thing is, our biology wasn't consulted for this change. Our nervous systems still expect rhythm and rest and seasons. Change. Cortisol, that was only supposed to spike for a real threat, like a lion chasing you. And then it's supposed to come back down. But instead, we built an entire culture where stillness feels like failure and busy feels like proof that we're valuable, proof that we matter. And people brag about being tired the way they used to brag about going on a vacation. So when someone says this isn't natural, they're not being dramatic. They are right. This isn't natural. We adapted to survive it because humans are incredible at adapting to survive almost anything. But that doesn't mean that we were built for it. Surviving something and being suited for it are two very, very different things. And I think we've confused them for a very long time. Here's where the conversation goes sideways. And this is really the heart of what I want to talk about today. People hear, I don't want to work like this. And they translate it into something the speaker never said, like they don't want to contribute or they want everything handed to them. Or my personal favorite, nobody wants to work anymore. Thank you, Kim Kardashian. But no one ever asked why. And that translation is the misconception. And it's a lazy one. Ironically, coming from the people accusing everyone else of being lazy. Wanting purpose is not the same as wanting ease. In my coaching practice, I talk to people every week who want to contribute. They want to build something real. They want to feel useful and skilled and respected for what they bring to the table. What they're rejecting is not the effort, it is a very specific, very modern version of effort that asks them to sacrifice their health and their relationships and their peace of mind for a paycheck that barely covers the rent in most cities. You can want meaningful work and still be completely exhausted by hustle culture. Those two things are not in conflict. They just get talked about like they are, mostly by people feeling shame about not doing enough themselves. Think about the actual movements that get mocked for this. Quiet quitting. That phrase got turned into a punchline on the interwebs. But what it actually described was people deciding to do their job description and go the crap home. Not less than their job, just their job. And that got treated like a scandal. Lying flat, the movement that came out of China, that got framed the same way. Young workers looking at an impossible cost of living and an impossible pace and saying, I'm going to go ahead and opt out of that race entirely. It's not laziness. That's a rational response to a broken incentive structure. People just don't like hearing that the system might be the problem instead of the person. And I'll be honest with you, I used to be the poster child for the grind culture. Early emails, late emails, answering my phone during dinner. I was the most reliable. I went over and beyond all the time. And nobody made me stop. Being out of work made me stop. My body would make me stop. That slow creeping burnout when you're not sick enough to call out, but you're definitely not okay. Yeah. You know, those days when you cry in the parking lot for no specific reason, and then you walk into a meeting like everything's fine. That's when I started asking the question I'm asking you today. Was I actually built for this? Or did I just get really good at pretending that I was, that this is something I wanted? And the honest answer was the second one. I got good at pretending. And that's not the same as being fine. So, how do you sit with this if you're someone who feels that pull? You resent the grind, but you can't just opt out. You got a mortgage, you got a kid that you're trying to put through college. You've got bills that don't give a rip about your nervous system. And let me tell you something, sister, those handbags are not going to buy themselves. So, here's how I've reconciled it for me and how I coach people through it. There's four things. One, separate the job from the system. Your specific job might actually be fine. It might even be good. You could enjoy it most days. What you're rejecting isn't necessarily that job. It's the broader belief that your worth as a human being is measured by your output. It's gross. You can keep the job and still reject that belief. And those are two very different but very important decisions. Two, redefine what contribution looks like on your own terms. You don't have to prove your value through exhaustion. Rested people do better work, sharper work, kinder work, even. And three, build in resistance where you can, even small resistance. That might mean protecting your lunch break, actually leaving your desk instead of eating a sad sandwich over your keyboard. It might mean not answering Slack at 8 p.m. Maybe negotiate flexibility instead of chasing a bigger title. Small acts of resistance inside the system still count, and you don't have to burn the whole thing down to reclaim a piece of your life. And four, stop apologizing for wanting rhythm instead of restlessness. You are not broken for wanting to work in a way that doesn't cost you your health and your sanity. That instinct, the one that's tired of the grind, is actually a healthy one. The exhausted person bragging about no days off, that's the one adopting badly, not you. And can I say something directly to the leaders and managers listening right now? Because I know a lot of you are in this audience. If people on your team are saying they don't want to work like this, do not hear an accusation. Hear information. That's someone telling you exactly where the system is breaking down for them. And the best leaders I know don't get defensive about that. They get curious. They ask, well, what's like this actually mean to that person? And then they see what's actually in their control to change. You don't have to overhaul the whole company, but you can protect someone's lunch. You can stop sending him a 10 p.m. email or at least schedule it for the morning. You can measure output instead of hours logged. Small shifts from leadership ripple further than thank you, and they cost you pretty much nothing. Now, even further, there are people that really say, I don't want to work, period. End of sentence. No, like this, just I don't want to work. And I want to acknowledge that that too is very much valid. We really were put on the earth to frolic and play, if you ask me. We shouldn't want to spend all of our times indoors working for someone else when our kids or our partner or our tennis lesson is awaiting our free time. We really weren't put on this earth to do what we do. But for most of us, there's no way around it. So for those, I'll say this. The next time you hear someone say, I don't want to work, I want you to resist the urge to hear laziness. We were not built to grind without rest for 50 years. Wanting something different isn't dysfunction. And you can still show up and you can still contribute and you can still build a career you're genuinely proud of. Just don't let anyone, including the voice in your own head, convince you that questioning the what the of it all makes you entitled or ungrateful. Just means that you're paying attention. And frankly, we need more people paying attention. So drop a comment and tell me, where in your work life have you felt that pull between wanting to contribute and refusing to burn out to do it? And if you have a topic you'd like me to discuss, email me at noelleleadsanyway@gmail.com. And if you're interested in personal or professional development coaching, please visit leadwithnoelle.com. And until then, go take up space, but only if you feel like it.